Roy Blunt had proposed an amendment to a piece of legislation saying that they are not satisfied with Obama's compromise, saying that religious institutions are exempt, not just the actual church, but also the schools, the hospitals, et cetera. They're all exempt from having to pay for contraception because it is against their religious beliefs, that in fact the insurance companies would pay. Well, the Republicans in this amendment said it's not good enough. What they wanted to do was exempt all employers from having to cover any health concerns that they had any moral objections to. So it could be anything. It could be birth control. It could be HIV/AIDS screening. You know, somebody has a moral objection. You had sex. And hey, you know what? You got crabs. You got syphilis. No, that's it. Moral objection. I'm not going to pay for screenings on that. I'm not going to pay for treatment on that. I'm going to get into all of your personal lives, and I'm going to pull all my employees aside. I'm going to ask them all about their personal lives. I'm going to say, I'm not going to allow that as part of my health care coverage. I am going to allow this. I'm not going to allow that. How about if you're a single mother? How about mammograms, vaccinations for children? Some people have moral problems with vaccinations. How about circumcisions? Well, all this amendment proposed by the Republicans would have allowed employers to get into every employee's personal life and decide, nitpick what they allowed and did not allow by their health care coverage to be paid for. And all the things that they didn't allow, well, that would have to come out of pocket for their employees. And by the way, would some employers do this on crazy moral grounds? Sure. Would some of them say, oh, I don't have to pay for all that stuff if I consider it immoral? Well, look at that. Now I consider everything immoral. So that would have opened up all those can of worms. So they proposed this, and in the beginning, of course, the Democrats were scared, and they were like, oh my God, please don't vote on it. And then they realized at one point, oh my God, this is such an extreme bill, we're going to win on this issue, the Democrats realized. To which I say, of course you're going to win on that issue. So what Harry Reid just did was, he said, you know what, you're right, go ahead and offer it up. But when he did that, the Republicans all of a sudden said, yeah, you know, we're thinking about amending it and coming back to it later. And you know what Harry Reid did, which was actually an excellent move by him? He said, no, it's okay. I'm offering it as you wrote it right now. Go to vote on it. So what are you going to do now? Now the Republicans couldn't backpedal because they made this huge stink. All their Republican candidates did, all their senators did about, oh, this is about religious beliefs and protecting the First Amendment. So they can't run away from that. So what happened? They voted. Great. They lost 51-48. But every Republican except Olympia Snowe is now on the record for voting in favor of this atrocious bill. Great, have at it. See how women and all people across this country react to this extreme bill where employer gets into the personal lives of every single employee they have and nitpick all of their different decisions in their lives and decide whether they are moral or immoral and whether they're going to provide health care coverage based on that. It's such a terrible, hideous bill that no one's in favor of, or very few people are in favor of. Well, all the Republicans just voted for it. How about it? Fantastic. Olympia Snowe, by the way, did not vote for it. Why? She announced her retirement a couple of days ago. So finally, she can vote her conscience if she has one. Susan Collins, the other so-called moderate, so-called pro-choice senator from Maine, who's a Republican, voted for it. She said, oh, well, I have got a lot of reservations. And I'm reluctantly voting in favor of it. Well, if you're that reluctant, there's one thing you could do. You could vote against it, but you didn't. You voted in favor of it. And I hope it comes back to haunt you and every other Republican that voted for it. And by the way, 3 Democrats voted for it too. Bob Casey in Pennsylvania, Joe Manchin in West Virginia, and Ben Nelson in Nebraska. Unfortunately, Nelson is retiring, so we won't get to hold that over him, but the other 2 should be absolutely embarrassed. What a terrible, terrible piece of legislation you've signed on to with the Republicans.